job where you come to work and people clap for you, it would change your entire mood.
We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC.
Or you can grow a conscience in the next 5 minutes and see where that takes you.
Don't this hit make my people wanna stop? Don't this hit make my people wanna stop? Don't this hit make my people wanna stop?
Watch the series finale of X-Men next Saturday morning. Check your local listing.
What the hell going on?
Oh, we heard tale of a party. Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
There can be only one magical Negro.
Que llama que buena baila usted a la vuelta papi otra vez llegó los negros de
It won't take long when there's a song to help you set the pace.
Howling hard from the heart.
This is pathetic.
Where we used to live.
Life could be worse.
This is the worst.
This is the worst.
This is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
Ai, menina, mina, chega aí. Ai, menina, mina, chega aí. Vai, quebra, tema, vai. Menina, chega aí. Vai, olha, danado. Eita!
And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down.
I'm bag of pixie dust. Contraband.
They're going to do the Mary Poppins thing. They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
Magic mirror on the wall. The fairest one of all.
Oh, bitch, you killed Kenny.
Kenny.
You fat hoe.
I get it. I'm not persecuted. I'm just an ass.
All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Lorena Creole, and it is such a pleasure to be hanging out with you guys once again on my show known as the Spice Lounge, where we give you those hot takes, spicy conversations about what's going on out here in these pop culture streets. And above all, we are some happy pop culture warriors for sure. So if y'all knew the kind of stuff that happens at the last minute before anyone goes live, I don't care how long you have been doing your live show, whether it's for a couple of days, whether it's for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years, something is going to happen where you hit that live button and you're like, shoot, this isn't working. This is where, and you're like scrambling behind the scenes. But either way, that's how I keep it real. I was literally doing my nails right before the show. So, wow, as always, we have got a absolutely packed show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about One Piece Season 2. Because we really do need to talk about that. Not just One Piece Season 2, but the news about Samurai Champloo live action. And I do have to say this much. Despite the abomination known as the live action Cowboy Bebop, I'm going to talk about why any slip up with regards to Samurai Champloo will rain down wrath, fire, and brimstone even worse than what happened with the live action Cowboy Bebop. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Rachel Zegler still can't keep her mouth shut when she needs to. And of course, got to talk about the hot topics and just general fun stuff that people like, having the internet for in the first place. So I see you guys starting to filter in between YouTube and X. So please do your girl a favor. If you are over there on YouTube, do me a favor. Please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button and make sure you share the stream out. And if you're over there on X, they finally fixed their thing. So now you get notified when I'm live over there. So please do heart it, retweet it, because your girl is out here talking to you folks. So let's see who we have got in here so far. We have got, let's see, one of my amazing mods, Tom, is in the chat. It says, smash that like button on the way in, y'all. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you so very much. I see Brian Acosta, 007, waving. So good to see you, my dear. Always great seeing you. And let's see who else we got. Charles is in the chat who says, I love One Piece Season 2. Dude, I loved it so much I watched it twice. Literally. Watched it twice. Because I kept missing stuff the first time around. But I had to go back and watch it again because I enjoyed it. So we're gonna talk about that because it is truly, I didn't expect them to fill it all twice, but they did. So we're gonna talk about that. Let's see. L Dog 360i. I'm so sorry that YouTube is just doing the @ names instead of giving y'all your full names, which you should have. The Rated Creole, every time I see those street performers dressed up like Spider-Man and Vader, I expect to see a van full of Disney hitmen to pull up and whack them. Gotta love it. I gotta love it. But you know what? They're being protected by midget Batman, though. Yeah. Gotta remember that. Computers and cars, I tell you. I once had a mature lady tell me, if it's got tires or testicles, you will have problems with it. I said, let me write that thing down. Just one of those. Because usually old people, sometimes their ramblings are kind of all over the place, but you will find that one nugget that you are just destined to run into, and you will just propagate it on down, Oh, thank you. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. I had to rush and get that on. So I'm glad you all like it. Thank you, Charles, for that. Borg Porg, hello, says I just finished One Piece Season 2. My roommate was getting so emotional on the last episode with Chopper. You know what? I love Chopper. I do. My favorite One Piece character is always going to be Roanoke Zoro. He's always going to be my favorite one. But Chopper, dang. And I have not, I don't know when I will ever finish watching the anime. I actually have, I think the first, I borrowed them from Camera Girl. I have like the first 10 books of the manga. And I'm only, I think, 50 episodes into the anime. Who knows when I will, Jesus will probably come back by the time I finish watching the One Piece anime. But yeah, Chopper, I love Chopper. I love Chopper to death. Let's see. Steel Leg of History. Hello. So good to see you, my dear. Has been a member for 46 months, man. I need a special level for y'all. Maybe call y'all the OGs. the OG mafia. That's what I think I should call y'all, because y'all have been around since like before I even started my channel proper, when I was just dropping in on people's streams and everything. Says, wish I could stay, but my mom had ankle surgery yesterday. Oh, I hope she has a full recovery. That's not fun. That's not fun to have. I wish I could stay with my mom, helping her rest. We'll be back next stream. Have a blessed night. Just hit 930 subs. Be blessed. Well, glad to hear about that 930 subs. Steel Leg of History. You keep it up. Always positive. I love it. And speedy recovery to your mom. She'll be back up around before you know it. 1,500 episodes. Well, yeah, I guess Jesus probably will come back by time watching the One Piece. I heard there's guides out there that tell you which One Piece episodes to skip because they're just filler. I kind of feel bad about skipping episodes. I want to watch the whole. I need to watch the whole thing. I'm a completist. So even the filler episodes have their they do. The filler episodes have their uses. I've seen them all. I'm not surprised, dude. Kudos to you. I think the Majin is almost done watching them all. At least that's what he told me. I haven't started. I keep getting interrupted by K-dramas and other anime that that I want to watch. There's other stuff that I want to watch. This one anime, crap, I'm trying to remember what the heck the name of it is, though. I know you and I are polar opposites. I started watching that and I kind of had to step out of that for a while. And then there's the new Baki one that's out. I got to watch that. I keep getting sidetracked. Let me tell you. How can you have filler in a 10 episode season unacceptable? I don't know. That's what people have told me. So I have no idea. Maybe I should have you guys to hold me accountable. Say, Lorena, how many episodes of One Piece did you watch this week? How much did you watch this week? Yeah, gotta tell it. Gotta tell it. All right. Well, we have got 43 of you folks in here to start between YouTube and X. I sure do appreciate you guys in here because, of course, you do have your choice in entertainment to watch. So I so appreciate you all being here. Let's see who we got. Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling. I binged all the seasons of Solo Leveling in one night. Solo Leveling. Then I went back to finish watching the latest season of Jujutsu Kaisen. So I had to watch that. Then I was watching May I Ask One Final Thing, which went from Otome to Tekken in like 2.5 seconds. So now I'm going back. Hey, CJ says, we have a choice since when? Good seeing you. CJ's my awesome thumbnail guy. Okay, all right. So you know how I love to do on the show. I love to come up with some of just the absolute craziest stuff that you would ever want to see on the internet. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna start with here. Oh, I'm gonna start with this one. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna start with this. I love Instagram, and I especially love it for the Star Wars memes. Check it out. I guess that's the Jamaican style. Jamaican style Star Wars theme. Although it seems kind of strange that it should be like that, laid back. At least I think, anyway. But hey, you go from being super laid back to just kicking it up a notch. I'm so gonna get freaking claimed. I love AI. That's all I'm gonna say. AI is something else, let me tell you. But if you think that's crazy, okay. Hang on, I'm starting to stutter. I should not be doing this. What's up, StreamYard? Don't I pay you enough? So you're not doing this to me? Anyway. This one absolutely killed me. If Batman was Irish. The town of Gotham. Oh my gosh, I just got that. That is a trip. It was a choice between that one and the Irish dancers doing the cha-cha slide, but doing it river dance style. I'll let y'all find that one. That was hilarious. Not funny, haha, but just ingenious how they had the steps to go down exactly with each single part in that track. Something you definitely gotta check out. We just love having fun. And of course, if you thought that was funny, of course, you know I have got more for you, especially when it comes to anime. Check this out. We got One Piece. This group goes to a whole anime convention. We got Jujutsu Kaisen.
The pyramid. My lineage written is serious. Bring the beat life like Jordan. Young gang starts with the kill switch. Pose.
We got Bleach. And we got Demon Slayer. So this is Anime Nightclub 3. So you can go and follow them over on Instagram. It is crazy how many of these conventions that they'll go to. And they'll do like the after convention dance parties. They'll have stuff like this. I have to say, granted, this year I skipped MegaCon because frankly, MegaCon has turned into a celebrity petting zoo. It's nowhere near what it used to be back when I was a broke grad student and it was like a fan convention. Now it's just, again, celebrity petting zoo. But when I go to anime conventions, it's off the chain and it's just absolutely freaking fun. So you get to see cool stuff like this. Hey, Thanatos, good seeing you. And Tom says, to think when I was a kid, I could break like that side all that time ago. Yeah. You also feel really old really fast when you go to some of these. But again, speaking of anime, I know, I'm having fun doing this. Have y'all heard of this? And I especially want to know if Tom has heard of this. So this is coming from Essential Japan. Classic vampire anime Hellsing is getting its own premium whiskey. I shouldn't say I'm surprised, but I am in a way. surprised that I didn't find out about this sooner, and now I want it. So if you have not watched if you haven't watched the Hellsing anime, you need to do that because it's pretty dope. It is a dope watch. Me and Izzo have to try it. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So, specialist retailer Whiskey Mew has officially announced an upcoming collaboration featuring a legendary dark fantasy manga series. The Helsing label Glen Moray 2008 is set to join the brand's premium lineup of curated Scotch whiskies. Hellsing is a highly acclaimed action manga created by Kyoto Hirano that follows a secret organization dedicated to destroying supernatural threats. And my favorite character in that anime is Integra. She is dope. Story centers on the Hellsing organization in late 20th century England, commanded by the steadfast Sir Integra Hellsing. To protect Queen and Country, the organization utilizes Alucard, a powerful and immortal vampire who serves as their ultimate weapon against other monstrous beings. Renowned whiskey critic Hideo Yamoka personally selected a 2008 Glen Moray single malt for this special release. I guess that's, well, of course, it's not Glen Morangi, but yeah, Glen Moray. I guess that's his cat. Scotch boasts a transparent, fruity aroma with the gentle sweetness of peaches, Japanese citrus, and Japanese pear. Light mouthfeel is accompanied by the rich flavor of malt, nuances of honey, and a perfectly balanced barrel presence. Spirit has been aged for 16 years in Scotland. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it the minimum age? Minimum for aged whiskey in Scotland? I think it's 12. I think it's 12 years or something like that. I am not a Scotch expert. The closest I've gotten to being any kind of somewhat expert on Scotch was when I would buy Scotch for Christopher Judge, aka Teal, from Stargate SG1 at conventions. I used to like give him, Scotch whiskey. I forget how many brands I bought. I was like, which one do you like? He's like, all of them. So yeah, that's what I would do. Let's see. Japanese whiskey is less peaty. See, I have no reference. Scotch whiskey is probably the only alcohol that I have bought for other people, but I have not had myself at all. Good whiskey doesn't need a gimmick. Yeah, that's true. But I would buy this one. Just because Hellsing is attached to it. So really, really cool. At least I think so. So anyway, I don't know who's going to be distributing this if you can get it in the US. Maybe Whiskey Mew is going to do it. I'm not sure, but if you know and you're watching this on the replay, let me know how one could acquire this in the US. I am just curious. So we're going to go off from that over to K-pop Demon Hunters. And I know some folks are like, why do we need another sequel? It may be one that we didn't know that we really needed. And if you haven't watched K-pop Demon Hunters, spoiler alert, maybe the honeymoon wasn't truly safe. But anyway, coming to us from Deadline by Justin Kroll, K-pop Demon Hunters sequel confirmed by Netflix and Sony Animation, with Maggie Kang and Chris Applehans back to direct. Let's see. Following the worldwide success of the first film, Netflix has confirmed a sequel to its animated pick, K-pop Demon Hunters, with Maggie Kang and Chris Applehans back as directors. Sony Pictures Animation will produce the pick. The sequel marks the first project out of the exclusive multi-year writing and directing deal across animation. So get this, with this one, I have more faith about this one being a sequel than anything else. I've heard it's not going to be rushed to get done. And the first one was an absolute bona fide hit. I have watched it I don't know how many times. Um, when Golden comes on, whenever I happen to listen to terrestrial radio by accident, it's still a darn banger. I'm so surprised about how good the first one is. Not only that, but between the film, between the merchandise, between the phenomenon around it, it's not going away anytime soon. So let's see here. When are they saying that it's okay? So I'm not saying when it's going to be done, but they're just saying that it's coming out. So, sequel is coming. Be on the lookout for it. And Family Guy's got a spinoff. This may be a hot take. I don't know, but Family Guy sucks. The best spinoff off of Family Guy was the Cleveland Show. I can't remember watching any episodes of Family Guy, but I think I watched all the episodes of the Cleveland Show. It's freaking hysterical. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Okay, so we're going to go on that to one of my favorite celebrity boyfriends ever. $145 US for the bottle. Dang. I don't even think I like Jason Momoa that much to pay that much. Anyway, excuse me. Coming to us from Bleeding Fool, Henry Cavill's Voltron reboot lands a 2027 release. Let's see. Henry Cavill is preparing for another major leap into classic pop culture as Amazon MGM Studios moves ahead with its live-action reboot of Voltron. And I think this is the one that Sydney Sweeney is supposed to be in as well. So after years of development delays, the sci-fi action film now has a release window set for 2027, according to producer Todd Lieberman, founder of Hidden Pictures. This movie brings the 1980s animated favorite back to life for a new generation, with Cavill joining the high-profile cast and an ambitious production schedule already underway. Now, your girl, I watched a lot of Voltron. I did. I freaking loved Voltron. Been following this ever since I heard Henry Cavill was going to be in it. Can't wait. Coming out on Amazon MGM, which means it will be on Prime, but they may try to do the thing, where they'll put the movie in theaters for like a week or so. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can, get into those, which they'll probably do it. If they do that, I will be seeing it in person. I mean, granted, I love Voltron, but I love Henry Cavill being in Voltron. Yes, I'm that shallow. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tax included, though, 140. Oh, okay. Okay. Why use AI and not do a face swap? I don't know. Maybe they told Allie just use this and go with it. I have no idea. But I will be keeping you guys posted about the Voltron reboot, as that is one that's on my radar as well. And speaking of Henry Cavill, I don't know where to start with this, but I will. I don't understand why some of these chicks come after Henry Cavill, and especially some of those who seem to be a mouthpiece for the CCP. Lena, I don't know who you are, but I don't know if you're trolling. Either way, you put yourself on the radar for this. So basically what she says is Henry Cavill is more of a man's man. He actually isn't that attractive to most women. Timothy Chalamet outshines him as a sex symbol that appears to women. Yeah. So Henry has the classic, strong, tall, muscular, reliable kind of vibe, but he lacks edginess, danger, and mystery. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and blaspheme too. All right. He's basically a Reddit nice guy in a jagged body and a handsome face. Also, he's enthusiastic about stuff like building PCs and his Warhammer figure collection. I find it cute personally, but for most women, it's a negative aura. Why don't you just say that you like your men feminine looking? Granted, I love Henry Cavill, y'all know I do, and I seriously take this as just a major offense. I don't know what it is, and I say this facetiously, I don't know what it is about women who prefer their men to look like women. I don't freaking get it. I don't get it at all. If that's your vibe, fine, but why you gotta throw shade at Henry Cavill? You know? But then again, I see you're 24. And I also see the Chinese, I'm not going to say Chinese, I'm going to say the CCP. Because frankly, it seems that for most of the folks who are in the CCP are the most butthurt I've ever run into and easily offended. All the Chinese that I grew up with, hard to freaking offend them. The CCP, oh my God, ridiculous. Anyway, I feel bad for you. I really do, because Timothy Chalamet looks like he could float away in the wind. No, not gonna work. Not gonna work. Not gonna work. Maybe she time traveled from the 90s when pretty boys were more commonplace. I guess. There is just, for me, there is nothing attractive about effeminate men for me. Absolutely. No. It's not. You can call me old-fashioned. You can call me sexist. But if a dude looks like I could pick him up and like throw him across the parking lot with one hand, not attractive. And the thing I was going to say, the lady, like, part of my brain said, shut up. So I'm not gonna say it. It's kind of salacious and should not be said in mixed company. Just saying. Anna, that Star Wars girl, would blow a gasket if she saw this. Yeah, she probably would. Yeah, I know I did. If you go and, you know what, we're going to look in the comments. We're going to have to, because this is what I call the donkey of the day. If you've ever watched the Wendy Williams show, if you ever listen to The Breakfast Club with Charlemagne, they would always have the donkey of the day, which is someone who said something that was so freaking stupid that it's just like, you really are stupid. I was like, girl, bye. Of course, she's saying the comments here are gay AF. Right. I don't believe you. That's blabs. Tug's is like, that's bait, which is true. It's probably baiting because, you know, rage bait gets you paid on X. What you say, that Star Wars girl, is she right? Let me see. Dante asked a question and it's about to be out for blood. Oh my gosh. Dude looks like he's on a permanent subscription to drug rehab and looks 15 years old. There's nothing sexy about this. You know what he can do? He can go get me and Henry Cavill something to eat. He can go do that. No, he's intentionally making himself look hobo. I bet you're on hormonal birth control, am I right? Hormonal birth control is bad for you. It's very, very bad for you. Very bad for you. It can make some people homicidal. I'm just saying. Women falling over from the street. Yes, yes, we do. Yes, we do. CJ says, listen, I'm a dude. I don't find him attractive at all, but I'm not delusional enough to think that my opinion speaks for women. You'd have to be blind not to notice women thirsting for him. It's kind of like how some dudes I know say about Jason Momoa. I'm not gay, but he's a good looking dude. Seriously, just, no homo. He's a good looking dude. He's a good looking dude. Yeah, she asked for that. Totally asked for that. Let's see. Time check. I'm trying to. Okay. Since we're talking about, so that's crazy regular people. Let's talk about crazy Hollywood people. I mean, I know that's a misnomer, but to quote Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, you never go full retard. And apparently, a lot of these Hollywood retards out there, yes, I use the word retard. If you don't know the difference, that's on you. They tend to forget that term called fair use. And I don't know what intern or interns are running the White House X page, but they're not getting paid. They're not getting paid enough. Honestly, they're really not. So you've got the Hollywood retards coming at the official White House account. You've got Pokemon coming at the White House account as well. See, Pokemon rebukes White House's use of its IP in a social media post. Now, I really have zero sympathy for Nintendo because they are one sue happy company. Go look up what's happening with Pal World if you don't know what I mean. But so Nintendo thinks, yeah, we're gonna rebuke the White House. We'll see if they have that thing. So this is what the White House account did. Freaking expert trolls. So they said, "Make America Great Again." So it kind of looks like Animal Crossing. And people got mad, especially Nintendo. But if y'all thought that would make the White House stop, if y'all thought that would make the interns stop, I don't think you understand. They are in this for the long game. And people like myself who can't wait to see what they do next. Check this out. Let me stop for Nintendo. Copyright claiming. Anyway. Like I said, I don't know. Whoever's doing this, anytime people try to talk crap about this, it just gets better and better and freaking better. Something else. And they have been doing this for I forget about how long. It really didn't get on my radar until they did this one.
Wake up, Daddy Sean.
Welcome home, son.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
What will you do without freedom?
Mavericks inbound.
But anyway, we're gonna get copyright claimed. They're not paying that intern enough. That's all I'm saying. And again, Hollywood, you don't understand what fair use is. Just saying. But it's funny to watch, that's for sure. All right, so let's get on to the next one here. But we're gonna go to my girl Rachel. Okay, I thought she would go off into the sunset. Like Paulie from Latino Slant, friend to the channel, suggested, go do Broadway, stage, West End, do that. Just go and do that. But no, she decides to come back. So Rachel is the gift that keeps on giving. So we're going to go through this show article from Collider. I know. Collider, I tell you. Rachel Zegler just proved every hater wrong with a bold response to the Snow White backlash. Okay, so Collider, number one, calling this chick out for the dumb crap that comes out of her mouth. If that makes me a hater, so be it. I will be an equal opportunity hater. I will roll up like someone in the player haters ball. Okay. Go watch the Chappelle Show if you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't care. Her response was not bold. Her response was just the usual dribble that comes out of her mouth where she's blaming everyone but herself for tanking a Disney film. Now, there's a difference between a film that tanks on its own. But this was one of the worst unforced errors I have ever seen because she just could not keep her mouth shut. Even when the producer of the film left his family, I think it was around Thanksgiving, flew to New York to basically tell this chick, shut up. And no, she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. So let's see what Collider has to say. Jake Hodges, she's not going to date you, Jake. I'm just saying she's not going to date you. Plenty of Disney projects in 2025 face backlash with the likes of Captain America, Brave New World. Yes, that never should have been made. We did not need Black Captain America. We just needed Falcon. Director James L. Brooks' latest effort, Ella McKay. I have no freaking idea what that movie is. That's probably the point, proving unpopular following release. However, a few films in recent memory have been more doomed to fail before they premiered than the live-action Snow White remake. It felt as if there was a new issue dominating social media discourse each day leading into Snow White's release, with perhaps the most controversial coming from conservative backlash at Rachel Zegler's casting. Okay, so I'm going to stop a minute and talk about the difference between Captain America, Brave New World, and the Snow White remake. Now, with Captain America, Brave New World, yeah, Anthony Mackie said some pretty dumb things too, but it seems he kind of reined his mouth in further, near the end, and they just showed him like out with the fans or whatever, even though, the movie did tank. But his mouth was nowhere freaking near what Rachel Zegler's was. And it wasn't conservative backlash. It was just people tired of her crap. Some people who asked some very genuine questions about her casting. First of all, when I heard she was cast, it didn't really bother me too much. If anything, you had some people who were yelling like, "Oh, it's a race swap." No. Latino is not a race. Some of y'all need to realize that, because some people have made it a racial issue when it indeed is not. Okay, number one. Number two, her father's Polish. So from what I understand, I thought the Snow White tale was German, the Brothers Grimm, but apparently I heard it was Polish. Okay, so she's half Polish. She's Polish and Colombian. So it's like, does that really disqualify her? Yes and no. It's kind of like saying if you cast James Bond as someone who's half English and half German. James Bond is supposed to be English, but does that disqualify someone because they're not 100% full English? It's like, yeah, you could do it, but it takes away from the flavor of it. But you also have the fact that The chick is described in the Brothers Grimm books with skin as white as snow, and she does not freaking have it. Okay? She does not have it. And I honestly think people would have been willing to overlook that if she would have kept her freaking mouth shut. Or if she did open her mouth and be grateful for the role that she had. So say what you want about Halle Bailey, okay, with The Little Mermaid. At least for the most part, she was grateful that she had the role. Disney pretty much set her up to fail anyway with that, but for the most part, she was pretty grateful about having her role. I think after the Evita debacle, Broadway decided they don't even want her. Wow, I haven't been keeping up with that. Did her Evita suck? Because I'm not a theater person for the most part, but I heard Evita is like a prize coveted role to have. You know, I called it when The Little Mermaid first released. I was first. I still get no props. Oh, well, you get props, CJ. You get props. Yeah, The Little Mermaid was the first. That was the canary in the coal mine, going someplace they had no business going. And case in point, you don't see Black Ariel out in the park. You don't see her. They keep her in a building for a meet and greet over in the studios. I mean, you want to see some confused kids. The fact that they have to put live action Little Mermaid on a package that has Black Little Mermaid on it, and then the Little Mermaid, Ariel. Y'all didn't have to do that, but you did it anyway because we want to be diverse and whatnot. Anyway, so it's impossible not to analyze the movie's journey to the screen without feeling uncomfortable because of the furious racist undertones of many Snow White-based social media rants. Okay, it was not racist undertones because, number one, yet again, to re-educate some of you, Latino is not a race. It's an ethnicity thing. And it's a very, very valid question because of what she looks like. Now, I know some Latinos who are really, 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 really fair-skinned. My ex-brother-in-law has to be the whitest Puerto Rican I've ever met in my life. I kid you not. He is blonde-haired with blue eyes, okay? There are fair-skinned Latinas out there. You mean to tell me y'all couldn't have picked one? I guess you could have, but Spielberg wanted her for West Side Story. So she was the it girl, So this is a legitimate point. There's nothing racist about it. The character's name is Snow White. I mean, that's like making Jet Black and Cowboy Bebop a white guy. If you know, you know. I'm just saying. However, in 2021, Zegler faced complaints from many for portraying Maria in West Side Story because her father was white. I don't think anybody in the original, wait, no, except for maybe Rita Moreno, okay, was Puerto Rican in West Side Story in the movie. It's like, that complaint, I think, is completely invalid. I really think it's invalid. Because when you get into, when it gets into Latin America, okay, because I do have cousins from Colombia. I do have ancestors from Colombia, okay. How would I put this? My Spaniard 6th great-grandfather, okay, on the census, he is listed as Blanco, all right, which means white in Spanish. If you know, you know. So that's a no-brainer. Well, I said not a no-brainer. It's a nothing burger for the most part. People had valid points that they brought out, but I guess it made some folks uncomfortable. But too bad. Too bad. It was a nothing burger that got blown up by some people who wanted to find a racial angle. And unfortunately, that uncovered the very legitimate question: how are you going to cast someone in a live action version of Snow White when she does not look pale? Let's see, with the dust having well and truly settled on the contention, well, it was until she opened her mouth again. Snow White's controversy now in the rearview mirror, Zegler herself has reflected on the turbulence in a recent interview. And I think it was also in Harper's Bazaar as well. And I think that's the other interview that she did before Snow White came out, where they tried to make her look, I don't know, likable, and it didn't freaking work. So she says, I was told I wasn't enough of one thing for West Side Story, which I think is ridiculous. That's actually fine. And too much of another for Snow White, which was true. She said later adding, I grew up proud of being Colombian. Okay. Eating the food, wearing the dresses, drinking the coffee, doing all the things that were so intrinsic to who I was as a kid and who I am as an adult. But I do think there's an argument to be made that in the public's eye, at least, when you're two things, you're simultaneously nothing. But I refuse to assimilate for anybody else's comfort. Now, two things can be true at the same time. You have Latino heritage, you can play West Side Story. You may not be Puerto Rican, okay. However, you're still Latino. So there's no issue with West Side Story. I never saw a problem with that. Some people want to be purists about it. I think it's kind of ridiculous as to who's cast. I think that's again, I think that's a nothing burger. It is intrinsic when you're talking about a character called Snow White. I keep hammering home this point because, as you can see, I'm not white and I'm bringing this thing up. It's like with the Little Mermaid. Ariel is red-haired, pale skin. Ariel is not a black girl with dreads. And you couldn't, well, locks. You couldn't even make the locks red. That's the other thing. You couldn't even do that. You couldn't even get that part right, and you didn't do it. So if I'm looking at the Little Mermaid, I'm black, and I'm saying, no, that's not going to work. People aren't wrong for questioning the fact that you bring this actress who, she just happens to be a darker skinned Latina. If she was a very, very fair skinned Latina, no one would have jack to say. But you cast who you wanted to cast. Disney casted who they wanted to cast, just like they did with Halle Bailey. They knew what they were doing. And in the words of Judge Judy, they basically tried to pee on our leg and tell us it's raining. Well, they actually did pee on our leg and then tell us it was raining. Bruh, she sank herself when she trashed the OG Snow White and got the Disney super fans mad. Could have blamed it on the racists till then, but after that, it was over. Yeah. You don't trash the OG. Talking about the prince being a stalker. Did he get consent to kiss her? Oh, no. No. Don't want to do that. Snow White controversy hurt the movie at the box office. Yeah, why would you want to see somebody's movie, especially a Disney movie? Here's what people need to understand if you don't understand. People who've seen the original film, if you're going to do a live action, they want to see an homage to the original film, respecting the spirit of the original film. Kind of like the first live action film that they did, which was Cinderella. People freaking loved that movie. Granted, it was not shot for shot like the animation, but they didn't piss off the fans. And that's what you did. So it's just like, why should I spend my money to see this for this chick who obviously does not like me, doesn't respect the original film that, as a Disney fan, I happen to love. I loved Snow White, one of my favorite animated Disney cartoons. And if anything, that is the Disney cartoon that made Disney into a true animation studio. And you wiped your backside with it, with your big mouth. But that's basically it. I don't know what Rachel has coming out that she's popped back up in the media with Harper's Bazaar running cover for her again. I don't know why. But again, I will reiterate, Rachel, it's not us, it was you. And you could have been gracious enough to basically say, I understand the concerns that people have, but I'm just thankful that I have this role, and I really do hope that you will like the film. A little humility goes a long way, but you couldn't do that. So, like my grandma would say, a hard head makes a soft ass. So, apparently not soft enough considering what she's been saying with this. It's ridiculous. Hey Sonia, I just saw your chat. Oh, I'm glad your knee's feeling better. It's not fun twisting your knee. I twisted my ankle getting out of It's a Small World one time. It was not fun. It wasn't fun. Disney's live action remake of Disney Snow White was incredibly done. I love the new scenes. They added Waiting on a Wish. There were good things. They were incredible. I'm glad you liked the movie, Sonia. If you liked the movie, you go ahead and you like the movie. I have too many issues with that movie, stylistic wise. I do. I have a laundry list of things I don't like about the film, but I will say this. Y'all deserved much better than you got. But if you like it, that's okay. It is okay to like the film. You know, if I don't like it, it's okay if you like it. I don't tell people what to like. Yeah, they did say that. They made it a point. They did make it a point with that. They made it a point. Some people picked up on it, but yeah, that was the whole thing, like making it, oh, well, we need to make, the Little Mermaid black, and then we're gonna make Snow White purposely Latina. Why? You had Encanto, okay, which was wonderful. They should have kept it at that, but yeah. Oh my gosh, she just cannot keep her mouth shut, can she? Go back to the theater, stay there, learn some humility, and maybe, just maybe. Nah, she said too much. Her stuff just needs to come out, and that's it. All right, well, folks, we have got 65 of you folks in here hanging out with us. Surely do appreciate you all being here. Please do make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed. It's always a pleasure here seeing you. All right, let's see. Here we got humility from Zegler. True. I was trying to hold back a laugh when I said that. Good seeing you, Professor R2. Well, coming from Forbes, and the reason I'm using Forbes is y'all know how I feel about Paul Tassi, right? Granted, he doesn't like us gamers. He doesn't like us geeks at all either. But I'm trying to use his article here. Coming to us from Forbes, early One Piece Season 2 reviews reveal double 100% Rotten Tomatoes scores. So he says, I'm not precisely sure what may happen by the time you're reading this, but so far things seem to be going very, very well for One Piece Season 2, the follow-up to the well-received first season adaptation of the famed anime and manga. So as I write this, One Piece Season 2 has a double 100% Rotten Tomatoes scores from critics and audiences. The caution here is that these are very few reviews at all, as critics do not seem to have been given screeners for this season, whatever reason, which is live now. The fans that have reviewed it now have also given it a perfect 100% score. But again, that would be an almost overnight binge depending on your region. So I'm glad the critics weren't given screeners. I'm glad they had to wait like everybody else until the sucker dropped on Netflix. And here's the thing, with the screeners that come out, it gives people time, critics time to get their story straight about what it is that they're going to say. I do not trust anything any movie critic says. There's some movie critics that, I do appreciate their opinion. Rosa Parra over on Latino Slant, she's a critic for Rotten Tomatoes. I do trust her judgment. She's pretty fair. Everyone's gonna have their biases. As long as you admit them up front, there's not a problem. But for the most part, they get the screeners and say a whole bunch of fluffy things about it. With this, everybody was on the same wavelength. When it all dropped, then y'all all had to watch it at the same time. So you're not seeing this like skewed thing at the beginning. You know how it's like, oh, the critics gave it like a 90, 95%, and the audience later on, when they start to reveal it, like 30% or something like that. No, they dropped it at the same time. And as you can see here, if I can get this to show up right, audience score went down to about 96%, which I don't trust when it's 100%. I just don't. I don't trust if it's 100%. I don't trust if it's 0. It's more like 98. When it starts to get into the 90s, yeah, I kind of agree with that. But this spread is not too bad at all, especially 96% given 1,000+ ratings. Okay, I'm down with that. I kind of believe that. Hey, Guy Scar, how you doing? Just good evening, everyone from the Bosco Scenario. Make sure you check out his channel. I gotta bring him back on the show sometime soon. I know I'm kind of slow with some folks that I'm sending invites to. I've just been busy, but I'll eventually get all the gang back back on the show. Because I miss y'all, miss hanging out with y'all. Rosa is awesome. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Had the pleasure of being on Paulie's show where we reviewed Wakanda Forever. Both she and I were just like, this ain't it, fam. This ain't it. Professor R2 says season 2 is a little weak. It's not bad, but lacking the charm of season 1. It feels alternately overstuffed and moving at a snail's pace. I do agree that it's not as strong as season 1, and that's not. It's not but yeah, it's not bad. It's kind of like how some shows where they come out the gate, guns a-blazing, and then it's like, how do we beat what we did in the first place? It's kind of hard to catch lightning in a bottle twice. But, as long as you shoot for it for the most part and the spirit is there, then that kind of works. For the charm of season 1, I can't say I 100% agree with that, but I do feel that there were some parts that seemed to drag and where my attention kind of started to wander, kind of like, why the heck are we doing this right now? So I do get that. Alternately overstuffed. That's probably with some of the snail's pace stuff, where I was kind of like, okay, why are we sitting here? But those were like few and far between. But yes, it's like if I had to give a score, of course, season 1, I'd say it's 99%. With this one, I'd say it's probably, I'll say 90. I'll be generous and say 90, but that's kind of how I saw it with that. So thank you, Professor R2, for that comment. I sure do appreciate that. All right, let's see. Audience score might not change at all. We did say that. One Piece season 1 had a 95 audience score. Its critic score was 86%. I think they got screeners for season 1, because remember, a lot was riding on season 1 of One Piece, because again, to catch folks up who didn't know, the first live action anime that Netflix tried to do was with Cowboy Bebop. And Cowboy Bebop is not just some fly by night anime. Back in the day when I was in grad school and I would have to study, I would have Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, I think it was Toonami or whatever, but I would have like that whole block. Cowboy Bebop is not an anime you mess with. But apparently the people who produced it, they messed with it. It was an awful mess. They did not work with Shinichirō Watanabe. They didn't. And we'll actually get into that in a little bit with another article. They just had him on there in name only. It's kind of like how Disney brought Tony Baxter onto the Tiana's Broccoli Adventure project, slapped him with an NDA so he couldn't say anything. That's what they did with Shinichirō Watanabe when it came to Cowboy Bebop. And when they started dropping those first set pictures, we were torching it, all of it. All of it. And when it came out, live action Cowboy Bebop was so bad. And you can go back and see some of the appearances that I made on a couple of channels, especially Midnight's Edge when I was on there. I think I only watched 3 episodes. And that was it. Because I said, there's no freaking way I'm going to waste my time watching this insult when I know what the original anime looks like. And even knowing the original anime, one of the things that One Piece did, one, they worked with the man who actually wrote the manga, Eiichiro Oda. They worked with him, and Oda would like post pictures from the set, who he chose for the cast and why, and we would see set pictures and everything, and he was hands on with that whole freaking thing. So One Piece live action season 1 did what Cowboy Bebop was not able to do, and a lot of us were really nervous about this because One Piece, again, was one of those animes you don't mess with. And I think it's Tomorrow Productions are the producers. It was so good, whether you have read the manga, whether you've seen the anime, if you didn't do either of them, it didn't matter. Because the live action was so good and they used the flashbacks so well, you got caught up, even if you've never read it, never watched it. They did an amazing job with that. And the guy that they cast for Monkey D. Luffy, I love him because Monkey D. Luffy, he's something else. So let's see. The show has been praised, probably above all else, for its stellar casting. And I do have to say that their casting is amazing. The guy who they cast as Roanoa Zoro, he's freaking awesome. It only took one fight because when I started to watch the first episode of One Piece season 1, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not. But when they had the first fight, I was sold because that fight coordination was on point. I was like, okay, this is going to work. This is going to work. Let's see. Live action Cowboy Bebop was atrocious. You know what? Atrocious isn't even a strong enough word for how bad it was. And the chick who played Faye, just like Rachel Zegler, she could not keep her freaking mouth shut. I felt bad for the actor who played Jet Black because he was just like, It's like I'm kind of sad folks didn't like it, but the fans have spoken. He was excited to play that, but chick who played Faye could not keep her damn mouth shut, and she got mad at us for pointing out how Faye Valentine's outfit did not look like Faye Valentine's outfit in the anime. How dare we should want, Faye to look like Faye. For me, it was the original Ranma 1/2 playing in the back while I studied. Yes. I tell you, I got some great memories from that. If I wasn't playing Public Enemy or Cypress Hill, I was listening to Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. I didn't even finish it. I will never finish it. I will never finish it. It's like with Rise of Skywalker. I will never hit play on that. Never. Let's see. The side characters, I do like the side characters. And there are loads, with season 2 adding dozens of dozens to the point where you wonder how exactly they fit into just 8 episodes. That kind of was a little distracting. I'm like, how many Mr. Numbers and Ms. Days of the Week am I going to have to sit through, and why? I mean, they fit in. They do fit in with the Baroque, and I'm blanking on the second part of that, but we'll call them the Baroque group or whatever. It made sense why they had that certain nomenclature, but I was just like, I needed a spreadsheet to keep track of who was what. So let's see. Netflix knows they have a hit here. The production on One Piece season 3 has already begun. That is true. That is likely meant to reduce the time between seasons. That is, it's been 2.5 years since season 1, long even for Netflix's streaming releases, which are often very long. Thank you, Baroque Works. Thank you. Thank you. I did like Mr. Zero. Yes, I have a type. Okay. But it was so dope finding out who Mr. Zero is, and then finding out truly who Mr. Zero is. Like, damn. Okay, well, if I would have read the manga, I would have known that. But I didn't read the manga, so I didn't know that. But how they did it, the slow reveal of exactly who Mr. Zero was, I got to give him props for that. That was pretty dope. Okay, so One Piece, it has 1,155 episodes. Like I said, Jesus is going to come back before I ever finish watching the episodes of the One Piece anime. Has a problems on its hands in terms of where to actually end the live action series, as if it were adapting the entire thing. We would probably have colonies on Mars by then, maybe Pluto. But One Piece creator Eiichiro Oda says he knows where the live action series will end, and it will not be anywhere near when the anime/manga is now, of course. We don't know what that is or how many seasons the Netflix show will run. Viewership is obviously key to that. Given the passionate fan base, I would expect season 2 to do well. It's live now, and there's no mid-season break to worry about. I like the fact that Oda knows where it's going to end, and that the producers seem to have the respect for the creator to basically say, okay, when it's going to end is when it's going to end. Because one of the problems with some of these shows is that they go on way more than they should. Case in point, Bridgerton. I know most of my audience probably does not watch Bridgerton. Okay. I watched season 1 of Bridgerton because it was fascinating for me to watch. Bridgerton season 2 was boring. Season 3 was ass. Season 4, Season 4, I barely made it through the first episode. And I said, I'll just go read the books. Because it stopped being interesting. It started taking itself way too freaking seriously. There's talking, and then there's too much freaking talking. Now, when will say a woman like myself says there's too much talking in a romance miniseries, something's freaking wrong. It just is. Well, between that and the obvious shoehorning of a same-sex relationship in a heterosexual context, didn't work. Didn't work. But they kept trying to do it. The actors would be in their 90s at the pace that they're going. That's true. So it's important to know when things are going to end. So I do like the fact that it's very obvious that they're following Oda's lead when it comes to putting, these seasons together, to know that, yes, there's going to be a definitive end to the series. And I would rather that the series ends in its prime than to die a slow, lingering death. We just freaking I don't want it to turn into Kurtzman Trek. I don't. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. To pop to the other piece of news, and this is what caught my eye this week. I mean, like I said, I binged all 8 episodes of One Piece season 2. I did watch them twice. Chopper is my favorite, second favorite. Zoro's still my first favorite. My first favorite. But Chopper, love seeing him. Oh, as for secondary characters, my favorite secondary character is Doctorine, played by Katie Seagal, aka Peg Bundy from Married with Children. Her character was so salty and so relatable. She was great. She was great. I absolutely loved it. So between her, Chopper's my second favorite character. Zoro's still my favorite character. I enjoyed it. It was a really, really good watch. So now you have season 1 and season 2. But this is what I heard. Now, I don't know if some of you know. You probably do because you've been watching this show. You do know that the Duffer Brothers, who did Stranger Things, is supposedly doing a live action version of Death Note. I don't know. Because how that last season of Stranger Things ended, I don't know. I have my doubts about that one. And Death Note, again, that's another anime that you do not mess with. And I don't know how that's going to work. But anyway, found this out. Netflix One Piece producers to make a live action Samurai Champloo adaptation. Now, for some of you, if you know, you know. If you've never heard of Samurai Champloo, here's a little bit before I get claimed. This is the opening. Let me just say, what you just heard is part of the reason why, if this failed, it would be worse than Cowboy Bebop. But I'll get back to that in a minute. One Piece producers Tomorrow Studios to adapt Samurai Champloo with creator Shinichirō Watanabe. Now, again, Shinichirō Watanabe was the guy responsible for Cowboy Bebop. But the producers for that one, for live action Cowboy Bebop, just kind of like patted him on the head and like, yeah, okay, but whatever. But Samurai Champloo is one of the dopest animes from back in the day. I could just listen to the musical tracks over and over and over again. You had anime mixed with hip hop track. Just like how the music, because with the music with Cowboy Bebop, if you notice, it was different for every episode, like from jazz to EDM. It was just crazy, but the music was isolated to a certain style for each episode because they were kind of like a bottle. With Samurai Champloo, you had a constant lo-fi hip-hop track through every episode, which was just freaking, it's absolutely amazing. So Tomorrow Studios is developing a live-action adaptation of the cult anime Samurai Champloo with original series creator Shinichirō Watanabe attached to the project. The studio's executive producers told Variety exclusively. The adaptation would mark the next major swing from producers Marty Adelstein and Becky Clements, who built Tomorrow Studios into a premier destination for anime to live action adaptations on the back of their Netflix hit One Piece. This news comes as One Piece Season 2 premieres Tuesday on Netflix, which already premiered, with the first 2 episodes set for special theatrical run in approximately 200 movie theaters across the US, Canada, and Japan beginning on March 10th. I did not get to go to the movie premieres at all. I didn't hear any news. I don't even think if it was able to hear, like in Orlando. It probably was in Philly because the Netflix house is there in Philly. If you've been to the King of Prussia Mall, they built the Netflix house, I think, where the Lord and Taylor used to be. Just saying. There you go, Shogi. How you doing? Says howdy. Good seeing you, my dear. Good seeing you. So to kind of add to that, this coming from Inverse. Cowboy Bebop's creator is getting a second chance at live action adaptation. And this time he'll actually get to participate. And this is one reason why I believe that the Samurai Champloo live action is going to do way, way, way better than the one for Cowboy Bebop. I shouldn't even voice that. I don't know. Y'all tell me in the chat, which is worse, the Cowboy Bebop live action or Dragon Ball Evolution? Because I've been told to never watch Dragon Ball Evolution. So this is by Dice Johnston. Live action anime adaptations are hit or miss, and they're usually the latter. The two media often have conflicting aesthetics, so realistic adaptation loses the anime feel, but a faithful adaptation can come across as cheesy or uncanny. For every Speed Racer was dope, there's an Attack on Titan. That Attack on Titan, yeah, that was bad. And less said about that Dragon Ball movie, the better. I bet you it's Evolution. Yes, it is. It's Evolution. Oh, this was bad. Yeah, I was told to never watch Dragon Ball Evolution or the Death Note live action. Although people seem more apologetic about the Death Note live action. It's like, they did what they could. Dragon Ball Evolution, they're like, not even if Jesus asked you to, do not watch Dragon Ball Evolution. Do not watch Dragon Ball Evolution. Save yourself an aneurysm. I definitely will. I do not plan to ever watch that. So let's see. But thanks to modern streaming platforms, the tide has started to turn. Suddenly, decent anime adaptations are everywhere. A trilogy of Full Metal Alchemist movies. I have not seen that. Multiple seasons of Alice in Borderland. I have seen a couple episodes of Alice in Borderland. That was actually pretty dope. I need to get back to it. Even the high-budget adaptations of The Last Airbender and One Piece. Now, I liked The Last Airbender. Granted, for selfish reasons. Is it shallow reasons? Because Daniel Day-Lewis was in it. No, not Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Kim. Sorry. Get my Daniels confused. Daniel Day-Kim was in The Last Airbender. I mainly watched it just to see Daniel Day-Kim. But other than that, I actually thought it was pretty cool. So now another fan favorite anime is getting the live action treatment, although the specter of an old failure looms over it. According to Variety, Tomorrow Studios, the production company behind the One Piece adaptation, is tackling Samurai Champloo, the samurai period thriller by Shinichirō Watanabe. Now, I think because it's a samurai period thriller, that actually sets them up for success. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch, and if you haven't watched this, you need to. Last Samurai Standing, which is on Netflix. That was dope. That's like combining the Edo period with Squid Game. And I think it's about maybe 8 episodes or so to watch, but it is very, very binge-worthy. So if they bring that with Samurai Champloo, that could work, because this is more of like a historical period type of anime. You're not really dealing with spaceships and all that, which they should have done correctly with Cowboy Bebop, and they effed that up royally. So they're actually set up pretty good to do this. Plus, also, Tomorrow Studios, if you look at the set construction and the CGI and then the effects that they did in One Piece, again, dealing with, the person who's responsible for the source material at Eiichiro Oda, you can see exactly what it is and how well that they'll do with it. So let's see. It's not the first time that Watanabe's work has been adapted for live action. Yes, we know that. He's the mind behind Cowboy Bebop, the cult classic sci-fi anime, given a television adaptation in 2021 that was lambasted by critics and audiences for losing the heart and soul of its source material. Even Watanabe, who was credited as a consultant on the series, had his misgivings. See, he was a consultant. He wasn't actively involved in it. He didn't have his hands in it like Oda had with One Piece. You had this group who had the hubris to think that they knew more than the creator. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yeah, Disney, Star Wars, I'm looking at you. For the new Netflix live action adaptation, they sent me a video to review and check, he told Forbes in 2023. It started with a scene in a casino, which made it very tough for me to continue. I stopped there, and so I only saw that opening scene. It was clearly not Cowboy Bebop, and I realized at that point that if I wasn't involved, it would not be Cowboy Bebop. That casino scene in the first episode was ass. I'm probably being too polite. It was awful. There was nothing about it that said Cowboy Bebop at all. It did not look like the casino scenes that you saw in the anime at all. It's like they were going 007 and not sci-fi. It was so divorced from the source material that it's just like, what the heck am I watching? So that tells you they only used it as a consultant. They didn't care. They're like, yeah, nah, we'll talk to you if we need something. This brings back this dude. He was too old to play Spike. He really was. He was okay, but he was too old to play Spike. The fight coordination was freaking awful. Faye, that's not Faye's outfit. That's not Faye Valentine's outfit. I mean, yeah, they cast Jet Black okay, but didn't work. And I don't ever remember the dog having a collar. I'm blanking on the dog's name, but the dog never had a collar. He was that smart. He didn't need a collar. So then again, it's like if you can't get the essentials right, it doesn't work. So, could another Watanabe animation adaptation break this curse? Tomorrow Studios assures fans that Cowboy Bebop was a lesson to be learned, not a bad omen of what's ahead. This time around, Watanabe will have more input. We've learned, producer Mark Adelstein told Variety, having the creator there to bless the creative is really important. And they're smart for having learned that lesson up front. They paid rapt attention. And I think they were quoted in a couple of articles as saying that they paid rapt attention to the dumpster fire that happened with Cowboy Bebop. And like, yeah, we're not gonna repeat that. Thank goodness. So Cowboy Bebop arrived early in the current adaptation boom, so maybe the kinks just hadn't been worked out. You know what the kink was when it came to Cowboy Bebop? The kink was that the people producing it thought they knew more than the man who created the source material. It's like Disney's Star Wars, okay? You had Kathleen Kennedy thinking that she knew more than George Lucas. Those movies didn't turn out too well. And the Cowboy Bebop anime was ripped left and right. It was an absolute farce. So, the folks from Tomorrow Productions knows exactly what they need to do. That they need to work with, work with, yes, but let Shinichirō Watanabe do what he does best. He is the creative. If anybody would know the best way to approach translating anime into live action, it would be him. So, let's see. Samurai Champloo's Edo setting is infused with Watanabe's trade hip anachronisms, so faithfulness to the original tone couldn't be more important. Hopefully well into Netflix's anime era, the streamer or whichever streamer ultimately hosts this new series, it'll be Netflix, trust me, will prove that Cowboy Bebop was just a fluke. Now, faithfulness to the original tone couldn't be more important. And here is why I say that it's even more important for Samurai Champloo's live action to be freaking flawless. Reason for that: one of the biggest contributors to the success of the Samurai Champloo anime is the hip hop tracks that are attached to it. If I remember correctly, Samurai Champloo, but this is before Afro Samurai. So I think RZA did the tracks for Afro Samurai. Samurai Champloo just cut those hip hop beats in every episode. You do not want to have the hip hop community pissed off at you because you screwed this up. Shinichirō purposely picked the Nujabes, and I'm forgetting who else was in there, but yeah, the early 2000s underground hip hop, Fat John, Suchi, Force of Nature, and the Nujabes. 3 official soundtrack albums, plus a later compilation. Among these, Departure stands as the central contribution to the series' identity, largely due to the Nujabes' involvement. Just to entertain yourself, go on YouTube and just look up, Samurai Champloo, hip hop, and then look at some DJs, especially DJs from Japan, that do lo-fi hip hop and hip hop compilations. It's insane how good they are. The music is so intrinsic. It was intrinsic to Cowboy Bebop because that was one of their first failures. They didn't keep in account of just how different the music was with each entire episode. They missed the music part, so they screwed that up. Hip hop is so popular around the world. If they F that up, that's going to be a problem. and it's going to be even worse than what happened with Cowboy Bebop. But I do not think that that's going to happen, because I don't know how many hip hop artists, if they can't get the original ones, there's plenty of other ones who would want to get in on it. Of course, I'm trying to think of, oh no, that one guy died from, but I'm talking like Tribe Called Quest. I don't talk about like Tribe Called Quest. Probably would try to get the RZA as well. So many people in the hip hop scene that they could bring onto that. They probably won't be. Depends on how much they want to pay. So they may go for some folks that are unknown or go back with some of these original guys. But the music is so intrinsic. It was intrinsic to Cowboy Bebop, but it's especially intrinsic to Samurai Champloo. So I'm thinking that they're gonna get this right. I'm hoping that they will. They've got a track record of getting it right. But speaking of music, and I'll actually end with this, because if you don't follow Kev on Stage, and you need to follow Kev on Stage, because Kev on Stage, he's big into anime too. Like somebody didn't warn him about starting Attack on Titan. And he was like, what did y'all get me into? And then he wound up going to a convention with some of his kids, and somebody made him a Captain Levi Ackerman cosplay that he wore to the convention. It was pretty cool. Somebody made it for him. But anyway, here's Kev on Stage. You can actually follow him.
So the Samurai Champloo. Who made the beats? Who made the beats? And why y'all ain't tell me about this show earlier? Y'all know I'm black. This show is violence, accidental death, and dismemberment over hip-hop beats. The opening theme song, I said, oh, who made the beats? Who made the beat? This is heat. The end credit song, I said, okay, who made the little love fight with the hip-hop beats? I think his name was Mugen. He was breakdance fighting. That appealed to the inner nigga in me. I said, okay. This is like an episode of Rap City plus Killing. That was like, arrow. Slide, arrow. I said, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just finished.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what Samurai Champloo is like. So I'm hoping that works out. I'm pretty optimistic that that's gonna work out. It's gonna be great. But either way, I'm gonna keep y'all posted. What's going on? What'll go on with that? Professor R2 says, I'll watch The Room 100 times before I ever watch Dragon Ball Evolution again. What? Do I want to know what The Room is? Or should I remain blissfully ignorant about what that what The Room is? All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me on the Spy Sounds. I sure do appreciate having all of you here hanging out with me. Let me know in the comments what you think of the show. What did you think about One Piece Season 2? What do you think about the Samurai Champloo news? What do you think about Rachel Zegler opening her mouth up yet again? I honestly, I have advice for Harper's Bazaar. If y'all think about doing another article on Rachel, don't. Just skip over there. Hey, Stunt Brad, how you doing? Says Miss Lorena, lurking hugs. Well, good to see you, my dear. Hope you're doing well. The Room is one of the worst and most inept movies ever made, but at least you can laugh at it. Okay, here's my litmus test. Is it worse than the Joker 2 movie? That's my barometer. I made the mistake of watching the Joker 2 movie. No, I'm glad I watched it because I could tell people that it sucked. And if people said, well, did you watch it? I'm like, yes, unfortunately, yes, I did watch it. the grenades I fall on for people. But that movie was freaking horrible. Oh my gosh. I heard that new Bride of Frankenstein movie, the so-called feminist Bride of Frankenstein movie, I heard that did worse than Joker 2. Oh my gosh. Worse but less offensive. Okay. Worse but less offensive. Okay. Lorena, you look gorgeous tonight. Oh, well, thank you, my dear. Thank you. I appreciate that, my dear. Appreciate all the compliments. Tell you, I'll be in the old folks' home recalling all these compliments. Thank you. I'm going to finish watching One Piece. Yeah, Charles, let us know how you liked it. I truly enjoyed watching One Piece. And although I thought Chopper cried a little too much, I think that was done on purpose, given his backstory. And I like how they took the time to go through his story. And especially having Katie Siegel's character do that, Dr. Reed, have her tell the story of Chopper. And I was kind of surprised about what Chopper could transform into. So that was actually cool how they kind of gave us a little hint and then showed it like later on. So I thought that was cool. That was pretty cool. Oh, I also liked Smoker too. He was cool. Smoker and Mr. Zero were actually very good. Number 3 was a real weirdo. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Please do make sure you like the stream. Make sure you retweet it out. Please do consider subscribing. And if you check out like all the shorts and the videos that Aldo's been working on, please do watch those. Thumbs up. I can talk to Invisalign. Thumbs up those as well. So you guys are awesome. I will see you next time. God bless. Take care. Bye.
All right, everyone. Let's tidy things up.
Autobots, start your engines!
Not under the rug.
We'll keep singing without fail. Otherwise, we'd spoil it.
Ready, Prime. Let's roll.
Hosing down the garbage pail and scrubbing up the toilet. Ooh.
That's all, folks.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.